All right, let's take a look at exactly how I used Dance Floor and HyperSaw Plus in the EDM Volume 1 demo to make this. Cool. So, Dance Floor. Let's solo this one first and take a look at the macro parameters that I modulated. So let's take a look at the massive patch real quick. We can see the 8 parameters here: FM, shaping, glide, size, pattern, bass, shape, mix. Those are all come with the preset. And I chose to modulate, looks like, pattern, bass, shape, and mix. So those are the 4 things I've modulated to make this sound the way it sounds. And so the actual MIDI itself, just one note. So let's take a listen to this soloed real quick. Yeah, so the whole thing is just this one note in a rhythm, and I'm using the automations to make it do what it's doing. So first we have the pattern. So let's take a listen. So it looks like I'm just changing the pattern over specific notes to give it a slightly different pattern of attack. So let's hear. And by pattern of attack, I mean rhythm. So let's just try real quick. Let's just put this all the way up, and let's just hear what that sounds like. I'm going to undo this when we're done, but now let's bring it all the way down and hear the difference. So pretty different. So I basically was able to find my favorite mix of these two by doing this. So I was fooling around, I'm sure, when I was making this and just finding what I thought sounded the coolest. All right, then I have the bass. So this is probably a texture or just another layer that comes in. And I have it just coming up as we get closer to the end. So let's see if we can hear that happening. Yeah, we can really hear it begin to get darker as we bring this bass up. So let's just listen once again with this 0 and 100 right at the beginning here. So it really brings in kind of a darker texture with the bass up. And then we have the shape. Looks like I actually did extremely little with this one. This may have even been an accident, but whatever. So it looks like I'm just going from 10 to 7, 10 to 7, so this is slightly changing this shape parameter, which is probably going to change just the kind of feel of the sound a little bit. Let's just, for fun, since we have it here, let's hear the difference. Let's bring it up. Okay. Almost a little more metallic-y, or like round. Cool. So I'll just put it back to the way it was. So this one's really doing very little. And then we have the mix, which is just going to change the way that the sound is kind of feeling. Mix is used a lot in a lot of these presets as kind of a descriptor for changing some way that the sound is mixed inside of itself. Honestly, Chris and you will have a much better answer for what the mix actually does. I just like to twist it and see exactly what I can do to make it sound cool. So let's see what I did with this knob to make it sound cool. So it's subtle, and it sounds like it's coming in a little different, or harder to hear with the other parameters that we have going on. But let's hear it at 100 and then at 0. Ah, okay. So the way I did it was to basically make that texture or that sound layer begin to kind of slightly come in as we progress through this loop. Oh yeah, we can really hear it begin to come in there. So that's how I did Dance Floor. Those are the 4 parameters, and let's check HyperSaw. let's check it alone. And what's cool about this one, actually, remembering now when I'm making this, all I did was basically play with rhythm here. I took the bass part and kind of just like made this complement and play with the rhythm of the bass. And as far as the chord choices or note tone choices I'm using, I mean, this first chord is an F minor major 7, which is totally cool. I dig that chord, and then F minor, and then F minor again, and then the F minor major 7 again. But really, it doesn't matter what the chord was because I thought it sounded cool, and that's all that mattered. In that we could really play with any kind of tones or chords we want because we're really just making a whole groove here. And that F minor major 7, ooh, it sounds like dark and cool, and I love the way that it's used a lot of times in video game music too to create almost a battle theme or something. And I just really digging that sound, so I just kind of fell into that. And that was the whole theory behind that, in case you were wondering. So the way that I made it sound like this, let's take a look at the parameters I used once again. So inside HyperSaw Plus, we have a vibrato, cutoff, an EQ, shift, strobe, chorus, reverb, feedback, and noise macros. And the ones that I used were cutoff, strobe, chorus, reverb, and feedback. So the cutoff looks like we have it steady the whole time, and then it kind of, well, I'm wondering if that's opening or closing. Let's see. Cool, let's actually bring this up. Okay, so it looks like I was opening it to some degree. Then we have strobe, which is making it vibrate, kind of vibrato-y back and forth, kind of. Right there. Now it's going in both ears, strobing. As compared to it being solid right there. Then we have the chorus, which is just a chorus, makes it sound bigger and wider. And here we kind of begin with it, and then it looks like I brought it down for the second half and then brought it back up again. Cool. Then we have reverb, which is really adding a lot here. Ooh, that's cool. I only had like a little drop of it right there. That's cool. So I only had it kind of happen on certain hits. And then as we progress, it gets louder and louder until we go into the abyss. And that signifies, hey, time to transition. All right, then we have feedback, which is just a way to change the, this is going to change the tone.